Hey everybody, it's Lauren DeLisa Coleman, and I am bringing you a bunch of different interviews during the Sonoma Film Festival, the Sonoma International, I should say, Film Festival. We are bringing it to you like nobody else, as we always do during the Inside series for Filmio, and now I'm about to bring you or introduce you to Patricia Nazario, who is the filmmaker behind, and we love all her promo, Backstreet to the American Dream. We have to really shout her out because she has the poster, the t-shirts, like it's like unbelievable. So I'm so happy to be able to welcome her. And Patricia, I can't wait for you to tell our viewers really all about what the film entails, and then we can just kind of get into the nuts and bolts of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to be here, Lauren. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So what is Backstreet to the American Dream all about?
Well, Backstreet to the American Dream is a feature documentary, 90 minutes, and it's a modern day look at the classic American dream. So what we do is we juxtapose one of these old school taco trucks, that like parked on the same corner night after night for years on end. Immigrant family runs it. And then we juxtapose that with the first season winners of the Great Food Truck Race, which is obviously a gourmet food truck. And they had overnight rock star success. And so you see these two sort of trajectories towards the American dream. It also gets into a little bit of the history of Los Angeles. And in this way, you get to see sort of like the tale of two cities. There's that immigrant side of Los Angeles that, the blue collar neighborhoods, the swap meets where people are just trying to get by. And then there's that upscale, very classy side of Los Angeles that is drawn to those gourmet trucks. So you see this unfold in the industry.
I love this. And as I was saying to, or rather during an interview with a filmmaker who, I don't know, I feel like she is maybe your mirror image here on the East Coast, examining something kind of similar in terms of immigrant stories, but around street vendors. And so I don't know if this is kind of like a trend or you guys have mental telepathy and it's just this really special moment, but I'm excited to see more about, these voices and lives behind these trucks and vendors, et cetera, everything that we're all kind of engaging with, particularly on, these two coasts, but in various parts of the country. So now what kind of brought you to this story?
So I was a daily news reporter. I was working at a radio station and they sent me out to do like some Monday morning quarterbacking, we would call it. It's like, oh, hey, the paper did this story. We need to run out there and do the same thing, just make it short. And I got out there and I did the thing and I came back and I was like, guys, like this is a bigger deal than they're doing, than you guys want. And the news director basically said, put it in the memo. And I didn't. I just sort of started hiring photographers and covering it on my own. And then I resigned from the full-time position 6 months later to produce a documentary full-time. So that was the beginning. But as I got into it, Lauren, I got to tell you, I just fell in love with the characters. I mean, Ryan Harkins was just so open and just so they were just bubbling, with the success. I mean, these are just two kids from the Midwest, and they had just won this TV show, and they were just like wowed out of their minds with the people standing in line to eat their food. And neither one of them had like an easy route, just to get to that point in their lives. And then on the other side, the woman who had left her toddler behind in Nayarit, Mexico, to cross the border illegally, her body still producing milk, so she could just get a job and provide for her toddler. So the more I got into the story, the more in depth these characters were, the more I fell in love with them, and the more committed I felt to seeing it through to the end.
I love this, and I love how you've brought kind of all of your journalist-like experience to this particular film. And I feel like you're a little bit modest, as many filmmakers who I interview, because it's not just like you're working at a radio station or a like television station. I mean, well, first of all, you have had extensive experience in a number of different areas, which I also think is just, remarkable. So television, radio, and, currently in web and digital design. But I mean, you worked for KTLA, which, everybody who's in the LA area knows. And I lived there for a year, so like for the Rose Bowl parade and just so, or I should just say the Rose Parade, but just like so many different things, right? So what are some of the elements that you kind of learned within working those spaces that you kind of brought to this film to bring it to life?
That question is such a great question, and it cracks me up because I had no idea what I was stepping into. So I really thought, oh, I worked in radio. I can mix audio. Oh, I worked in TV. I was a one-man band. I know how to work a camera. I could shoot these interviews.
Uh-huh.
And I brought that assumption to the project. And man, I can tell you, it took a whole lot of YouTube University to round out those
Oh
rough
my
edges.
gosh,
There
too
were a
funny. Not
lot of
YouTube
rough
University.
edges.
Love it.
Oh,
So
tons.
that's how you kind of got over any and all hurdles. But
Any
I
and all
love that. You
hurdles.
didn't rely on others. You were just like, you know what, I can figure this out and work it out on my own.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of that. Plus, the budget was tight. I paid consultants and I had an assistant editor. So, the assistant editor, luckily, was from Mexico City and a USC film school graduate. So, he brought, because the
Perfect.
one of the characters is one of the main characters is a Mexican woman. So, he was able to help me figure out just her perspective, her accent, kind of like, a bit more of the cultural norms. My family's Puerto Rican, so that it wouldn't feel like an outsider telling her story. So I really relied on him, and he helped a lot with bringing a lot of dynamic movement to the images that we unfold during the film,
How
and
did you
with the
find him, though,
subtitles.
by the way, Patricia?
I've,
Just by
I've
luck?
heard. And by luck, I've heard this from other filmmakers at film festivals. It's like once you're on a path, these things just open up to you. And that was completely my experience. I was desperate for somebody and had gone through one or two people. Nothing was working out. And I went to a dinner. And at the dinner, I was just kind of like expressing my woes. And someone made a phone call. And the next thing I knew, the guy was at my door the next day.
He was
So,
just like the perfect answer to all this. So now, how long was the whole kind of time frame from, the moment you said, I think we have a bigger story here, to like the end where you were like, okay, this is final cut. I'm really happy with this.
that was about 10 years.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh
really.
my gosh.
You'll hear a lot of first time documentary filmmakers say that. I was going to say filmmakers, but more so in the documentary realm. And I think it's because we come to it with more passion than finances. Oftentimes, if you're doing a feature film, you can often get, somebody to pony up some money. You can get investors to come in. That's not so much the case with documentaries. You kind of have to prove yourself. You have to prove there's a story. And so we were lucky at the end, Jaritos came in. And so they're our promotional partner. And then Dolores Wealth is our executive producer. That we didn't have that, out the gate. So it basically was a process of unfolding. It took so long because I had to teach myself so much. And then COVID hit. And so that was kind of like COVID year was kind of like my finishing year. That's when I was sending it out for the color correction, getting the images corrected, getting the audio remixed, doing all the final steps. And then our world premieres was with Dances with Films in August 2021.
Oh, that's great. That's a cool festival as well. Like just a very
Awesome.
interesting vibe there. So
Yeah.
how did you I don't know, just kind of maintain your spirit during all this time, Patricia? How did you kind of, not say, well, maybe I'll just come back to that later, or maybe even not? Like what kept you going?
Totally. I could tell you talk to a lot of filmmakers because it's like,
Well, and sometimes I'm just imagining, right? Because I mean, we all have projects that we've dealt with in all kinds of realms, and you just know yourself, like this can be very challenging. I mean, I know I've set out to write maybe a 500 word piece, and it's turned out to be like a 1,500 or 2,000 word piece, and you have a lot of different interviews from people to compile. And, sometimes you're like, why did I do it this way? But then once it's there and then people really like, connect with the story, you're like, this is amazing. So I know what that's like from maybe, more of a writer's point of view and a little bit of, television production point of view. But I think with film, that's a long haul where you just have to be like, I'm going to make this happen no matter what. And I feel like everyone who I speak to has his or her own coping method. And I'm just wondering what yours is. Chocolate? I mean, what helped?
I think probably a couple different things, a few different things. First off, when I resigned from my job, I moved in with my sister. So I always had that familial support, and I always had that encouragement,
Oh, nice.
luckily. So that was a big one. Secondly, I surrounded myself with positive people, my attorney and my main consultant, Mitch Levine. I mean, these people were there for me, always encouraging me. My attorney listened to me cry, I don't know how many times. And another thing I think now in retrospect, I can appreciate it. I had a part-time gig and it put me on the road a lot. And I would always find myself at the beach at least once or twice a week, able to dip my feet in the water and walk on the sand.
Not
And it's
bad.
not right. It's not an outing I would have done for myself, like, oh, it's my beach day today. But I think because I was doing that, I was able to have that access. And it just kind of, I think, first off, helped me dial into the YouTube University. I would do that during those days and then bring that knowledge back to my workspace. And then I also would go to the beach regularly. So, I mean, in retrospect, I think those were probably the main highlights that kept me grounded.
That's so great. And I see on the poster, you guys like, look, I mean, obviously it was worth it because you have shown this film at a number of different festivals. Tell me why Sonoma is important to you, and have you been to this particular festival before?
Have not been to this festival. It's important because there's such a strong Hispanic Latino community out there. And you don't really think of Sonoma in that way. We think of Sonoma as that escape, right? Napa, Sonoma, wine country, beautiful. People want to go eat and drink, and all that is great. But who's preparing that food and who's harvesting those
Well,
grapes
you
and
know
foods?
what? That is so true, right? Oh my gosh, so true.
And so this, what my goal, what my wish is for this film is that we do, I would love to see it go on the road and do these kinds of stops, maybe in a festival sort of format idea, but it could just go from city to city and help bring this conversation out. There's no less threatening way to talk about these difficult issues we're facing as a society than to have people gather around food and to talk about our cultural differences and appreciations around food. And I think that would be a wonderful bridge to begin this sort of conversation that we need in this country after a very tumultuous presidency and very tumultuous times that we're living in right now, obviously.
So now, what are you anticipating when you go to the festival? Because this is part of my like kind of run up, which I kind of try to do a lot of times. I'll do some run up, and then the rest actually inside of the festival or during the festival. But it's also it's always very cool to talk with filmmakers as they prep. So the festival's in a few days. Are you bringing like a whole entourage and going to shut it down, or what's your plan of attack there?
I think this one is a little bit out of my reach. We did have an encore screening. We had a sellout show for Dances with Film. That's because the film is an LA story, and so it was a perfect world premiere for people to come out. In Sonoma, it's a little bit out of reach. We're 9 hours away.
Mm.
So I have my core with me. I'm going to have about 2 or 3 people with me. I did go out early, made some connections with some local reporters, some
Oh,
local
good.
policymakers. So I'm going to have a couple of guests there. And
Wait,
then
that's really smart. Let's not gloss over that. You actually planned that out so that you would have them in the room. I love that.
yeah, I went out, Lauren, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I went out for about a week and was able to make some awesome connections and reach out to a bilingual newspaper that did a story, and I think they're going to do another one leading up to the festival. So those
And
kinds of
were you
things
just
are
like, "Hi,
important.
I'm Patricia. I'm fabulous. I have this film, and I'd like for you to come out," or like, "This is why I think this is an important story," or how did you kind of frame it?
Initially sending out, pretty much cold emails and then following up with people and then being able to set up a couple of coffee meetings while I was there. So, and then luckily, Luis Valdez, who's also in the film, the writer director of La Bamba, the movie, he performed at a neighboring county just above Sonoma, Hellsburg. And I was able to go there and watch his performance, say hello, let him know about the screening. So these things are important as an independent filmmaker. It's such a grassroots effort. As you know, I'm sure you hear over and over again, especially from documentary filmmakers. It's like we have to motivate ourselves. We have to see it through. And then on the other side, it's grassroots. You have to get people interested. We apply for the festivals. We select which festivals to apply to, which ones to accept and stuff like that. So it's grassroots. And I think people enjoy feeling that, and there's no better way to connect grassroots than just show up yourself and be like, hey, this is what I did, this is it, I'm here, can we meet up, and these are the reasons why I think you'll love it.
I don't know. I mean, I've talked to many an independent filmmaker who I kind of feel a lot of times it stops at the festival and there's not really that much more to it, or it really is a cause that they've been passionate about for a long time, or maybe it was a cause that like affected a family member or something, and then they have like a whole array of things that can happen, and inviting people to like have screenings at their cities and so much more, a lot of supportive materials. But I have not really heard that many filmmakers themselves saying, well, I went out to XYZ city right before the festival and kind of just campaigned and talked to even policymakers. No, you guys, like, I mean, take this as a tip, I think, from Patricia. I'm just even thinking about ways to do that in other like realms, but that is really important. I mean, if they have the time and will set that aside to see you, I think it's very, very powerful.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
especially to, then invite them. You're just like, building up on like, I am going to like be able to sell you on either not just really the film, but the whole premise, right? And the
Yeah.
idea around it. So I guess this is a, good time for the question of like, what is the main like kind of takeaway that you hope people bring, from the film, or how do you want it to ideally most impact them?
Yeah, I'll answer that question this way. When we had our world premiere here in LA, I'm a sailor, and I had a sailing friend come, an older white man, probably in his late 60s, early 70s, possibly. And the day after he watched it, he emailed me and he said, "Hey, Patricia, I left with just so many questions about the industry and the people, and I did some research, and these are some links I found. And you probably know all this stuff anyway, but I just wanted to share it with you." And I just thought, I mean, it almost like brought tears to my eyes, because I thought, how powerful is that somebody walks away from a film curious enough about the other to go off and do a little bit of Google searching to find out about Mexican immigrants, or find out about children being raised without their parents, or find out about what's happening on the border or the history of an industry. And so I just think those that curiosity can do so much in helping us relate to one another on a more human level. That's my goal.
I just think it's so great. So, what's going to be your next project? Because, I mean, I think this has had just so much success, and I can tell it wasn't like a huge team behind you and you had massive support and all that. So, I can only imagine with like the network that you've created and the knowledge from this project, like applying that to a next one, like it's going to be look out. So, do you have anything on the horizon, or are you still kind of really very much focused on Backstreet right at the moment?
Yeah, very much focused on Backstreet. After Sonoma, we go to Paris.
No
So
way.
that's gonna
Good for
be that's
you.
gonna
For
be
what? For a particular
another
festival or an
screening.
event?
Yeah,
Which
another
one?
screening. It's called Ethnograph Film. So it's a festival that focuses again on the diversity of our population, and telling those diverse stories. And so it's at this little theater in Paris, Teatro Le Pic. It's a little very, very well known theater. So we've made a whole full trip of it. We'll be gone for about 45 days.
No, that's great. Do you know which arrondissement this theater is in by any chance? Probably not. Right?
Not offhand, no.
I was just wondering because I lived there for many years and I was not a big theater person. You're talking about theater like live theater, right? Not
No,
a
no, no.
movie theater. So a
It's a
movie
movie
theater.
theater.
And what's the name of it again?
Theatre Le Pic, Lepic, Le Pic.
LEP, yeah, so Lepic. So I guess in the area of Lepic, probably.
I think
So
so.
good for you. Oh my God, I'm gonna look that up. So you're gonna be there
Uh,
for 45 days. So wait, will you stay into Cannes and go to the south or no?
oh no, well, we're going to the south, but I don't know about Cannes. And it's not a Cannes Film Festival. This is a
No,
smaller
no, I know, but
festival.
I figured
Oh,
since you're
okay.
gonna
Okay,
be
just to be
there,
clear.
kind of 45 days almost puts you into Cannes. Maybe stay and go to the south and schmooze and hit different events around the
Yeah.
Cannes Film Festival. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll look into that. We will be in Nice for a week. We're doing a hopping around. We're going to Cyprus and then to Monaco. And so, yeah, it'll be a longer trip. But yeah, I'll look into Cannes. I didn't really think about the timing. That's a good idea, Lauren. Thank you.
Well, my pleasure. And I know, and you seem very enterprising like me. So, connecting the dots.
Thank you.
I think we all need to probably follow your Instagram as you go abroad. And I'm pretty sure your Instagram is hot even, when you're in the States. So, how can everybody best follow you and just stay up on everything that you're doing and help support the film? So, is it
Yeah,
best via Instagram? And do you have a site for the film, or I can't
yeah,
remember? Okay.
yeah.
So,
Thank
what's
you. Yeah,
both?
we just redid the site. It's backstreetfilm.com. And Instagram is the same, Backstreet Film. On Twitter, it's Backstreet. And Facebook, it's Backstreet to the American Dream. And my personal email is patricianazario.com.
That is great. Personal site, your website.
Yeah. Is that what I
Great.
said? That's what I
Yeah,
meant
and
to
your
say,
email. And I was thinking, I hope she
right?
doesn't give her email on camera, but then you could. It's not a problem. Well, I just think that this is also wonderful. Is there anything else that you might want to add, or anything that you're seeing in the industry now that you really love, or you would like to see changed, or something that you just kind of feel is, I don't know, a point of interest or a point of annoyance even that you see? Because you're kind of like not new to the game in any sense, but newer on the documentary side. And so I'm always just kind of curious what people, kind of see that either irks them or that they really love, something new that might be coming up, that, people should look out for. Anything like that? Or are you two like kind of head down into promotion of your own project?
I think my experience at film festivals has definitely been positive. Being a female filmmaker, people look out for that. I didn't realize. So yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity. I think it's important. A lot of things you pointed out about, quieting the noise in our minds. If you have a passion or you have an idea, I think it's valuable to see it through, find a way to make it happen. Everything, I'm blown away. People submitting films recorded on cell phones, or a lot of cell phone footage. So I think the day of doubting ourselves or not believing that we can do it, those days are definitely dwindling. There's a lot of opportunity. So I would just say, if you have an idea, see it through, try and make it happen. May not be easy, but surround yourself with positive people. There's a way.
Well, I think you are definitely a testament to that. And I mean, 10 years in the making is really no joke. So I hope that you have a great time at the festival. I mean, I know that you're definitely one to get your network on. I can see it and feel it. But I also hope that you have, a little bit of time to kind of hang out as well. I was talking to another filmmaker earlier today regarding this festival. It's, very special, but because it's in like kind of this area, there's a lot of emphasis as well and events around, food and wine. So
Yeah.
I hope that you get to go to some of those. I can't wait to interview people while they're like boots on the ground and ask them like the different events that they're going to and how much wine they've had to drink. What's the hot wine right now? Like, I can't wait
Yeah.
to hear like maybe some newcomer that's pouring that like everybody needs to know. But you'll be like right there and can like scoop all that up in real time. So have
I'm so
fun.
looking forward to it. Yeah. So it sounds like you'll be there, Lauren,
I won't, but we're doing all this virtually.
virtually.
Because some of the festivals we attend in person, some are virtual, and so this
Okay.
one will be virtual as well. But then we're kind of putting most of our efforts right now, and you guys might want to like kind of keep this in mind as well. Like for Tribeca, it's going to be a big deal, like out and about, boots on the ground with a whole bunch of stuff going on. So yeah, we're kind of saving up our energy for that and doing it
All right.
virtual until then. So like probably about two and a half months. Yeah.
Awesome.
But in the meantime, enjoy the festival, enjoy Europe and that festival as well in Paris. And yeah, I just hope you have a lot of success because it seems well deserved. And thank you for taking the time to speak with us.
Oh, Lauren, thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for caring about this festival and the people involved in it. They really treat us so well. I'm so grateful to be a part of it, and I'm looking forward to a good time there.
Oh, I hope it is. And I'm gonna look up this theater now because now it's like bugging me that I don't know like Le Pic, Théâtre de Le Pic right off the top of my head. There is a Rue de Le Pic, which it must be either part or near there, but I'm gonna Google after this. Like I gotta
I'll,
see.
I'll send you a link.
Okay, great. So have fun there, knock them
Thank
out,
you.
and thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. And you
Thank
guys,
you.
thank you so much for watching. I hope that you're able to support Patricia's film. Again, Backstreet to the American Dream. You can see all the promo, and we will be bringing you even more interviews right here on the Inside series. For Filmio, I am Lauren DeLisa Coleman. Thanks for watching.